Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game SO. During another fun and exciting episode for you guys this evening is we're going to be updating our Neptune FPGA video. Last time we showed you this project, there was a working prototype on camera loading cartridges and playing Sega Genesis games, and since then a lot more details have come out as well as some more footage of the prototype hardware running other games. And as far as new FPGA projects are concerned, the Neptune FPGA and Gamers Care team seems to have taken the lead as far as getting ready to ship a project because there are working prototypes. It does have cartridge reading ability that they've shown on camera, all the things we want to see out of a new project. And if you're not familiar what the Neptune is, it was basically supposed to be a console made by Sega, marrying the 32X and the Sega Genesis into one cartridge shell, because honestly, if you put a 32X on almost anything, it becomes absolutely unwieldy. It's like one gigantic mushroom cloud on top of a console. Even something like the CDX, which is a Sega CD and Genesis combined together in a very small form factor, looks absolutely ridiculous when you actually put a 32X on top of it, and it prevents the CD drawer from fully opening. And as far as Sega CD support on the Neptune is concerned, they have stated that there's going to be an expansion port so you can hook up a real Sega CD and read discs from there as well, so that should be a fun time to see. But the best part about this entire project is just how much they are demoing it. You can see in this screenshot here from a YouTube video that Time Extension put up, there is a full working triple stack board prototype that is reading cartridges and even reading a Mega EverDrive, so you know that's going to be compatible with the final version of the hardware as well. And this is what I really love to see on new projects. I want to see prototype hardware running games, because so many people can show a trailer or say footage is running off an FPGA prototype, but when you put the hardware in front of the camera, I have the confidence to tell you that this seems like a fully realized prototype at this point in time. This is from previous footage, and you'll see here, turning on Sonic the Hedgehog 3 works perfectly fine. It reports 1920 by 1080 as a resolution, which is the target for the Neptune FPGA, and it seems to be working totally fine. And this is exactly how you market stuff to customers and potential people interested in the project. We know that this board works, and in the background I have chatted with somebody from the Neptune FPGA team that's given me a little bit more insight into exactly how this is going. I'll share that when I can, but I am confident that what you're seeing running here is an actual product doing actual things. And it is going to have some exclusive games as well. There's going to be a store online so you can basically download different games, so it's going to be interesting to see how the ecosystem of the Neptune FPGA goes. And with the Sega CD support and 1080p output, it's going to be a fun time for sure. So you'll see here, this is sort of the apocalypse, and they've shown more prototype footage of the game running on a prototype Neptune, so you get a look at the overall game in and of itself, as well as it actually running off of the Neptune prototype with all of the different cables in there. And that again is some really good progress to see. It's running a game, and it's not only running a game, but it's running a brand new game. It will be fun to see what this store looks like in the future, and to see if these are really going to be Neptune exclusives, or if this is something you could load up on an EverDrive or real hardware and run on real Sega Genesis hardware as well. My guess would be that it's maybe going to be a Neptune exclusive for a month or so, but to try to recoup some costs and get the biggest user base you can possibly find, I do bet that it starts to go to sale for real hardware as well, just to kind of broaden the audience and give them the biggest look at the game. But it's not my decision. We'll have to kind of wait and see what happens there, although I do hope it does run on real hardware. But this again is just great progress. You'll see here in a little bit of a close-up, you have that prototype, it's running that cartridge, and again it does seem like it's getting close to being a single PCB, because in the design timeline you'd basically try to prototype this out, you'd get games working and stand-up cores, and you'd basically iron out all the bugs in the hardware, and then from there you would take all of those designs and then move them down into a single PCB that would fit into a Neptune case. So the fact that they already have a prototype working on camera showing games running is absolutely awesome, and I can't wait to see what more they demo. This does seem like an exciting project. Now granted, like I said in a previous video, these are all cores that already exist on MiSTer FPGA, but it's one of those things, people want that console style design, they want a fun UI, so this is something that's definitely going to have a market out there. And some of the developers and musicians from the one game that is going to be an exclusive even put up a little sample of the music running on the Neptune and what it's going to sound like. So I'm going to give you a 25-second sound sample so you can hear the overall audio quality. I'll be back with some more Neptune details, but enjoy. Sounds good to me. It'll be fun to see and hear that when it's actually running on Neptune FPGA, but in some of the other footage that I previously haven't shown you guys yet, you can see them switching out cartridges, popping on the power switch, and it just booting up like a real Sega Genesis. And I know this is another thing that a lot of people are interested in out there. Myself personally, I don't really need to put cartridges into something like a MiSTer FPGA design because I have my Sega CDX and the cartridges and multi-cart, so if I want to play with my real games, I'll just go RGB into my PVM. But I know that I'm probably in the minority on this, and a lot of people like putting physical media into these FPGA devices. Stuff like Analog makes, people really do like popping those carts in, so leave me a comment down below and tell me where you land on that, whether or not you want to put physical media in or if you just like loading up the files. For me, FPGA is a kind of expedient way to be able to play my games without having to sift through the shelves and decide what I want and then maybe clean a cartridge. But for other people, I totally understand the appeal of this, and it will be fun to see hopefully in the future a real Sega CD hooked up to the Neptune FPGA, because I'd love to see what that overall form factor looks like. It would be surprising if there's an FPGA core for Sega CD on this, but they could probably pull it off because again, we have that on the MiSTer FPGA side of things. But it's fun just to watch them change the cartridges and show this prototype on screen. I'm sure we'll get a look at some of the close-ups of the PCBs in the future when the team's ready to reveal the overall specifications of what this project is using, but for the most part, this again is a very promising start. Every single time a new project comes out in the FPGA space and they want to demo something, I always say, just show the hardware, even if it's an absolute utter mess of cables and silicon all over the place, because that instills confidence that this is actually a realized prototype. And that's what the Neptune team is doing. They even have some fun mock-ups as well on their YouTube channel, which I will link to below. But the good thing is this project seems to be doing all the right things. It's got a fun form factor, it's got a prototype working, it's reading cartridges, and they're keeping everybody updated along the way on the details. Now, there is no timeline for being sold yet or any sort of pre-orders whatsoever, even when some of the exclusive games will be ready to ship, if that's going to be launch day stuff or it might be 6 months or a year into the project's life cycle. So there's still stuff I would love to know, but again, just seeing the prototype on camera working really does make me think that this is going to be a very fun project to pick up in the future. And trust me, when this thing is ready to review, you will see it on the channel, and as they update people with more information on the project, I will continue to update these videos, because I know you guys will love previews of new FPGA projects, and honestly, this is becoming a very hot territory with like 3 different people trying to launch a MiSTer FPGA. I don't want to say competitor, I just want to say adjacent project, because I don't really think the competition in this space is doing anybody any favors whatsoever. There's definitely space for more than one FPGA device on the market. Obviously, we have Analog as well as MiSTer in the ecosystem, and that works totally fine. So having something like Neptune would just be another bonus, and that is why I am excited about this, especially because my CDX here, I know I need to open it up and change the caps at some point in time, and it is a metric crap ton of pain to try to do something like that. This is probably actually going to go out for servicing, because honestly, my hands are not that steady when I work on rare hardware. But short of that, looks like a Neptune is going to be coming to market soon. When there's more details, I'll update you, but short of that, we're done, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.